What's up, fellow Zelda enthusiasts? Welcome back, and a special shout out to Zachary Carroll. Thank you for helping boost up the channel. Today we're talking about two technological devices to examine not so much who did it better between the ancient and modern day Sheikah, but how they did it differently between the Sheikah Slate and the Purah Pad. We'll take a look at the physical appearance and design aesthetics, the lore of manufacturing, how we acquire each device, their respective minus button menus, the user interfaces, how they present the map information, their other functionality features, and general utility and gameplay. Then I'll wrap things up with the narrative significance of each. So alright, let's go. It's said the Sheikah Slate, in real-life terms, was designed with the Wii U in mind as a blueprint, but to me it's always looked like more of a tablet inside a thick rubber protective case with a built-in handle, and the handle wraps with an orange glow we see in dormant shrines. I've also heard of people referring to the Slate as Link's cell phone or iPad, but the truth is Breath of the Wild was originally intended to be a Wii U exclusive, so designing a portable in-game device to resemble a Wii U makes a lot of sense. That's why the Purah Pad is clearly modeled after the Nintendo Switch. There's no doubt about it because Tears of the Kingdom didn't share its sales with another console. It's a Switch exclusive. The ends you hold on to look like Joy-Cons. They even have soft blue glowing circles where you would expect to see thumbsticks and buttons. It also plugs in at the bottom when scanning and downloading new map information, the way you would charge or dock your Switch. But more on maps in a minute. Their screens are about the same size, and for the record, both the Wii U and the original Switch have 6.2-inch or 16-centimeter sized screens. Both devices have squiggly Sheikah designs around the border akin to what we see on Sheikah shrines, guardians, towers, etc. These designs look to be part of the outer shell of the Slate, and they look more like a digital border or perhaps part of the unused surface area of the screen on the pad. On the back of the Slate is a traditional Sheikah eye symbol, and I suppose you could assume the eye itself is the camera lens. On the back of the pad, we find a design similar to the Sheikah eyeball symbol, but it's distinctly different and is clearly the camera lens as we see it blink when Zelda takes photos. The Slate is supposed to be a 10,000-year-old relic designed, developed, and produced by the ancient Sheikah, while the Purah Pad was created through the dedicated research and reverse engineering of a single Sheikah person. So instead of being named after the whole population, it's named after the inventor directly. Purah used ancient knowledge to create a modern, updated replica. That said, Purah is the one who named both devices because nobody in modern times knew what the Slate was called back in ancient times, and because the pad goes back in time with Zelda, you could theorize that the Slate actually takes design inspiration from the pad. Before we acquire either device, the plus button menu is accessible while the minus button menu does absolutely nothing. So for the purposes of this video, anything under the plus button menus is not considered use of the device. We receive the Slate right out of the gate as it's been on a pedestal inside the Shrine of Resurrection for a century, waiting for Link to awaken. Grabbing it is the first thing we do in Breath of the Wild to open the doors to get out. On the flip side, the pad has been held for Link since ancient times because Princess Zelda accidentally took it back in time with her. So she and Minoru hand it off to a Zonai construct for safekeeping. We must make our way out of the Room of Awakening and out onto the Great Sky Island to find that construct and speak with it. Once acquired, Link always wears the Slate on his hip and carries the pad in his essential items inventory bag. And where he wore the Slate in Breath of the Wild, he wears the Zonai battery pack in Tears. In both games, when we receive the device, neither is operating at its full capacity. Neither has a working camera, although on the pad, the album is accessible, but we just can't add new photos to it, obviously, and you can read the word album at the top, whereas on the Slate, it's written in Sheikah text. Then there's the compendium, which is not accessible on either device, but again, it's written in Sheikah text on the Slate, so if you ever translated it, you would know what you were going to get later, whereas with the pad, all you get are 3 question marks, but if you played Breath of the Wild before this, then you made an educated guess and probably knew that was the compendium. But then it probably rose your curiosity about what the other 3 question marks were for on the other side of the menu, being the character profiles. The Sheikah Slate can hone in on shrines as soon as you've activated the towers, and once you have the compendium restored, you can also target onto any other item you can take a picture of. Restoring the compendium on the pad gives you the ability to target onto other items, but not shrines until you jump through some more hoops and get Robbie to restore that feature with the Sensor Plus over in the HYRULE lab. However, when you do restore that ability, it works even better because the pad gives different sounding blips depending on whether you're too high above, too far below, or right about on the same level as the shrine, which is helpful for any found on mountain ranges or below in cave systems. In Breath of the Wild, Purah can upgrade the slate at the HYRULE lab, providing the camera feature and upgraded runes. In Tears, some data has been corrupted over the last 10,000 years, and Robbie can help us out with that by repairing the camera, Hero's Path, and shrine honing features. In Breath of the Wild, the only way to get Hero's Path is to buy the downloadable content. Both devices have a built-in compass, clock, weather app, and decibel meter, which all display in the bottom corner. In both games, the first time you ever press the button to look through the menus or look through the scope, you'll get an animation of Link taking out the device and then a first-person zoom-in shot. Anyway, we need the slate to activate all towers in Breath of the Wild, but in Tears, Purah and her assistant Josha are responsible for the initial tower activation sequence. But then to unlock the regional areas for each, both devices interact with a pedestal in a way that makes it look like Link is paying for his items at checkout by either inserting or tapping his card. The slate is also used to open certain treasure chests, activate shrines, activate the divine beasts, and of course, has the 4 primary runes, plus the camera and amiibo scanner. And don't forget about the Master Cycle 0. The pad only keeps the camera while the runes are replaced by the arm abilities, and the amiibo scanner is included with this. Now I can do a whole separate video on the comparisons between the runes and the magic arm abilities, but I digress for now. Because the slate's 4 primary runes specialize in interaction with the environment. The slate is directly used for combat, exploration, puzzle solving, lifting objects, crossing bodies of water, and travel, and probably more things I'm forgetting about. But I will say the Purah Pad is also used for fast travel warping. All the runes are found together in a quick menu accessed by holding up on your controller's D-pad, but for the arm abilities are mixed in with the Purah Pad features on the selection wheel pulled up by holding L. Using the L button is intuitive though, because pressing it on the slate is what activates your selected rune. However, what's not intuitive is how holding up on the D-pad no longer has anything to do with abilities, because now it's the quick menu for your materials inventory. The cameras work the same. You can take photos with either A or R, both with the same zoom power, although the pad has more storage capacity. You can hold 60 photos on the slate, 12 from Zelda, and 48 more you can take. The counter only shows the usable roll of 48, and you cannot delete Zelda's old photos. The pad holds 64 photos, 3 from Zelda, and 61 more you can take, and the counter shows the total available slots because you can delete Zelda's pictures. And in both games we see multiple photos taken which are not included in the digital roll of the albums. The scope feature works mostly the same, except for in Tears of the Kingdom you can now use it while paragliding, which is a huge advantage for exploration over the Sheikah Slate in Breath of the Wild. Getting into the minus button menus going left to right, the slate has 4 menus: runes, map, photo album, and Hyrule Compendium. The pad has 5: character profiles, the adventure log, map, photo album, and compendium. So because the pad doesn't have runes, the menu is replaced with the character profiles page, which is nice. And the adventure log is also here, whereas it was a part of the plus menu in Breath of the Wild, so maybe that's just a handwritten journal, but it's a digital journal in Tears. This makes the pause menus on the pad more organized into a dedicated inventory management system and a set of adventure resources. Things are also generally ordered horizontally within the slate menus, while the pad has everything organized vertically. When examining the map's unlocked regions, the slate doesn't offer much. We only see the borders of the individual tower regions over grid lines with a faint Sheikah-style background. The pad allows us not only to see the regional borders, but also where there's water. The slate allows placement of 5 pins on the map, while the pad allows 6, and the slate allows the placement of 100 markers, while the pad can handle up to 300. And when transliterating the Sheikah text below the real-world language labels for points of interest on the map, the slate goes into way more detail than the pad. It labels things as places, water, timber, artifacts, mountains, and regions. The Purah Pad calls everything a location, but what you gonna do? Another thing these two devices have in common is that they both update in real time. So for example, with the slate, the first time you make your way up Death Mountain to see Varudanya, the bridge is up, but once you lower it, the map will show the bridge is down. And with the Purah Pad, we see Zora's domain is covered in sludge, but once we clear the water temple, all the water is blue again. Other than that, the Sheikah Slate is an integral aspect of the storyline and progression in Breath of the Wild. It's tied to the game's lore, quests, and puzzles. You need it to leave the first room. It's specifically designed for use by the chosen hero to access the shrines to test his worthiness. The Purah Pad simply helps you get around. But even without it, the castle is a gigantic landmark, and we all know we have to go there anyway. Alright, now it's time for the members only block portion of the video. In case you missed it from my last video, there will now be a members minigame challenge at the end of all future videos, where all member names automatically participate in a Zelda minigame for top scores and bragging rights. Last time we went for the long jump, today we're going snowling. I know there's a spot where you can get a strike almost every single time, so to make things interesting, we're not allowed to use that technique, and instead I will have to use some random way of getting the ball down the hill every single time. Everyone will get one turn, and then if there's a tie for the top spot, we'll do a sudden death. And we'll take turns in a random order. Starting out with Raven Alicia. We're going to go ahead and right here in the middle, and we're going to give this one a throw. Ooh. Ooh. That's just barely a gutter ball. Sorry about that, Raven. Let's see if we can get a spare. We'll pick it up. We'll go right about where we were, but this time instead of throwing it, just a little drop. That should be plenty of speed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I thought that was going to be another gutter ball. All right. Starting it off strong. One pin down. Batting second is ZW Ralzeric. For this one, we're going to put it down over here and then give it a little stasis launch. How about that? One hit. And then how about 2 hits? There we go. Ooh, did I make the ball smaller doing that? Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh man, I just discovered a new technique. Steerike. Thanks for the 300 rupees, Zarek. Coming in for play at the third position, we got Madison White. We're going to go all the way off to the left and give it a throw off to the left. And hopefully one of those moguls will roll it back. No. Oh my god. I was really hoping those moguls would push things back into play. Alright, we're going to try that again, but we're going to go off to the left all the way, and then throw it more to the right this time. I think that was the only thing we needed different. Oh! Oh! Oh. I feel like you almost got the spare. 7 pins, not bad. 20 rupees, making that money back. Next up is Wild Child. We're going to take the same technique as we did with Madison, except this time we're going all the way off to the right. And then we're going to throw it off to the right. Oh, come on, stuck on the statue. Freaking Pondo out. See, this is what I was expecting. Oh. Oh. Come on. Come on. Oh, I thought that one wobbly pin was going to fall down too. Alright, we got 3 pins. We can get a spare. Should we try the stasis technique again? This time just leaving it exactly where it is. And we'll give it 1 hit. That's it. Oh no. Come on, come back, come back. Ah! 3 pins for Wild Child. Now, I like the stasis technique. I believe in it, so we're going to go with that again. Next up is Zachary Carroll. But we're going to move it to over here. And we're going to... Oh, no. 2 hits. Oh, too much power. Gutter Ball. We're going to put it on this patch of rock this time. Oop, or not. Okay, from way back. 3 hits. Oh, come on now. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about that technique there, Zachary. I really believed in the stasis launch strike after what happened with Zarek. Alright, playing next is AAG24. AAG was the winner of last time's competition. Let's see if we can do it this time. We're going to go from way back, but instead of the stasis launch, see if the throw will get us there. Yeah. What we got? 1 pin. Okay. Alright, we're going to do the technique where I just place it right at the base here. Give it a shot. Right. How about this? Come on down. Oh. 1 pin. Tied with Raven. Alright, last but not least today is Josie Crosby. Josie's got to roll a strike to tie with Zarek. And for this one, we're going to do... I wish I could, like, drop it backwards. Wait, can I drop it backwards? Let's try this. We're going to walk up to here, and I'm going to run. Yep. Boom. All right. Uh-oh. Oh. All right. Tell you what. If you get the spare, we're going to count that as 10 pins, and you'll still tie with Zarek. Let's see if you can do it. One more chance. We're going to do the same technique, but we're going to stand over this way. Oh, not looking good, Josie. No! Alright. Well, I know not to do that ever again. Alright, so we got the Gutter Ball twins with Zachary and Josie, and we've got 1 pin each for AAG and Raven. And then the top 3, we had Zarek with the strike in first place, Madison with 7 pins, and Wild Child with 3. Congratulations, guys. Have fun with that. And if you want to get in on the next one, you can join the channel memberships for 1 rupee a month or whatever that converts to in your own local currency. Thanks to all the members who support me on this channel. I have a passion for nerding out on Zelda stuff, and your donations directly support my dream goal of being able to do that for a living among other creative endeavors. In addition to getting a spot in the member minigame challenge, you also get a vote in what videos come next. You get to watch videos before they're publicly published, a handful of cute emotes, and other cool perks. That's all for now. I'll be back as soon as I can with more content. And until then, stay cool and always keep punching out there. Aloha.